Okay, I want to get started because today is an really interesting session. Now, as you know, we have been looking at Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and this is the combined knowledge about how to become successful from some of the greatest minds of the 20th century. It's a result of nearly 30 years where Napoleon Hill interviewed these great men, and in the last 3 months, we've been able to cover a gist of what this man spent 30 years studying. And I've been playing Earl Nightingale's recording on how he summarizes Think and Grow Rich, and he introduces this book by Napoleon Hill. Now, as I've said before, the important thing is, as I listened to this, as I prepared this, it's not just for you. Okay, it is more important for me. It's an opportunity for my own personal learning, my own application, and my own success, not just simply to share with you. So I urge you to have a notebook handy and take notes, okay, especially on this topic, which may be complicated to you, or you may have heard so much about it that you sort of like a switch off. Okay, so take notes as you listen to this, and when you go through the replay, and ask yourself, is there something that you can apply in your life right now? Napoleon Hill wrote 13 proven steps to riches, where riches are simply whatever you happen to want. Hi, HT. Morning, May. Hi, Jeff. Good to talk to both of you this morning. Okay. So today, let's hear Earl Nightingale on the 11th principle, which is on the subconscious mind. Here we go.
The 11th principle has to do with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the 5 senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. It receives and files sense impressions or thoughts, regardless of their nature. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, thought, or purpose which you desire to translate into its physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious acts first on the dominating desires which have been mixed with emotional feeling, such as faith. Your subconscious mind works night and day. Through a method of procedure unknown to man, the subconscious mind draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desires into their physical equivalent, making use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish transformed into concrete form. No one knows very much about what we call the subconscious or unconscious mind. We do know that it is incalculably powerful and can solve our problems if we go about using it the right way. And the best way is to hold in your conscious mind as often as possible a clear picture of yourself already having accomplished your goal. You know what you want, define it clearly, and then project it on the motion picture screen of your mind. Hold it. See yourself doing the things and having the things you'll have when your objective will have been reached. Do this as often as possible as you go about your daily work, and particularly at night, just before you go to sleep, and the first thing upon arising. As you do this, your subconscious will begin to lead you in the most logical ways toward your objective. Don't fight it. Follow your sudden hunches, the ideas that come into your mind, knowing that it's your subconscious trying to get through to your conscious mind. If you'll keep at this, you'll be amazed and delighted by the wonderful ideas that just seem to come from nowhere. In the next principle, we'll talk some more about this 6th sense that seems to control the lives of the great men and women, but it comes from a systematic triggering of the subconscious mind. The lives of the great men and women, which seem miraculous to the average person, are nothing more than the fulfillment of their burning desires through the power of their subconscious minds. Time means nothing to your subconscious. A man could work steadily at his job for 40 years and not accomplish as much as is possible in 3 or 4 years through the proper working of this principle. Your subconscious mind cannot remain idle. If you fail to plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which reach it as a result of your neglect. Remember that you're living daily in the midst of all manner of thought impulses which are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. Some of these impulses are negative, some are positive. You are now engaged in trying to help shut off the flow of negative impulses and to aid in voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key which unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Bulwer wrote, "The man who succeeds above his fellows is the one who, early in life, clearly discerns his object, and toward that object habitually directs his powers. Even genius itself is but fine observation strengthened by fixity of purpose. Every man who observes vigilantly and resolves steadfastly grows unconsciously into genius." The key word there is unconsciously. Know what you want. Decide once and for all that it will be yours. Remain steadfast on course, propelled by faith, and your subconscious or unconscious mind will do the rest.
So, the 11th principle, the subconscious mind. In my first introduction of this series on Think and Grow Rich, I pointed out that this book has one all-encompassing idea. And this is that in order to do great things, whether it be to accumulate great riches or any other goal, we have to enroll and harness the power of our subconscious mind. And in terms of power, the subconscious mind is orders of magnitude more powerful than the conscious mind. There's literally no comparison. I said if the size of the conscious mind is the size of a microwave oven, the subconscious mind is the size of the Milky Way. It is extremely powerful, and the computational resources it has are humongous, millions of times more powerful than the conscious mind. So that's what we talked about right at the start. Now, we're coming to talk about it again, okay, as the 11th principle. And I want to highlight a few key points that Earl Nightingale has talked about and that come from the chapter which he has not mentioned. The first point is this word voluntarily. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, thought, or purpose which you desire to translate into its physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious acts first on the dominating desires which have been mixed with emotional feeling such as faith. Okay, that's what Napoleon Hill wrote. And he said, you cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish transform into concrete form. So this is very exciting to me because, I can control my conscious mind to hand over control to my subconscious mind, which is this humongous computer. Napoleon Hill goes on to say, the 13 principles are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged if you cannot do this upon the first attempt. Remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit, okay, under the directions given in the chapter on faith. You have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient, be persistent. So faith is not just belief, it's solid belief which takes time to persistence to grow. Then he talks about the science of prayer. Okay, I love the word science as a scientist. The subconscious mind, Napoleon Hill says, is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and the infinite intelligence. Okay, infinite intelligence is the universe, is God. It is the intermediary through which one may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. It alone contains a secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. And he goes on to say, if you are an observing person, you must have noticed that most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed, or else they pray by a ritual or meaningless words. And because it is a fact that most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt, which are the emotions the subconscious mind acts upon and passes on to infinite intelligence. Likewise, that is the motion which infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. And this is, he wrote this book 100 years ago, and he says this at that time: the time will come when the schools and educational institutions of the country will teach the science of prayer. Now, way back then, Napoleon Hill uses the word science, which implies predictability. It implies laws, okay, subject to the laws of nature like gravity. This is the law of attraction. Okay. Now, I want to share with you something that my NJC classmate, Dr. Chu Su Hong, spoke at a TED Talk. Okay. Now, Su Hong has a PhD in maths, econs, and behavioral science, and he teaches at several universities. He's now teaching in some Chinese universities. Listen to what he says about the unconscious mind.
也就是曲名。我做这首曲子是即兴的，自然而然、无意识的成分远超于有意识。在国画中有工体画和水墨画之分，在西画中有油画和水彩画之分。很明显的，工笔画或油画需要全心投入来进行，而水墨或者水彩的无意识成分比较强，还带有一定的随机性。The essential role of the unconscious in my improvisation seems clear. This improvisation comprises numerous decisions all in rapid succession. It relies very much on the unconscious, which is vast, like 汪洋大海。 far bigger than the conscious. I aspire to incorporate the unconscious into the development of an attention theory with the hope of unifying existing models, encompassing high attention and consciousness as well as limited attention, thereby accommodating a meaningful role for the unconscious, giving rise to randomness in decision making.
Okay. So if you woke you a bit, that's why we got to leave it to the subconscious, okay, because that understands everything. But I'm just showing you to tell you that's a science. By the way, the music that you heard initially is him playing. He composed the music and he was playing that music himself. Okay, so that's my friend Chu Su Hong. Okay, now, okay. So another thing that Napoleon Hill talked about was controlling the door. And he said, you are now engaged in trying to help shut off the flow of negative impulses and to aid in voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key which unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. And of course, this has to do with negative idea. He talks about negative ideas. He says the presence of a single negative in your subconscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. Okay, so this really needs practice. You need mastery at this. I mean, I'll give you an example. When you're, when you're giving birth. Okay, your mother finds out that she's pregnant. Okay, what does she think about? Immediately, she thinks of protecting the child from harm. This, that. These are the thoughts. But you also want to, you don't want to dwell on these negative thoughts. You want to have positive thoughts, a vision of what that child will become. But it's a very reality. There's so many things you can eat that is harmful. So where do you focus on? Okay, so it requires practice so that we empower the subconscious mind.